What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Backliners podcasts, Aggro and BaRRaCCuDDa, as per usual. Barry, we have a new patch to talk about.
Yeah, we do.
And a new ADC joining the ranks. Where do you want to start? You want to start with Newt, or do you want to start with...
It's not Nut?
It is not Nut. It is Newt. But I'm not going to, I'm not going to get on you about it. You know, there are a lot of gods that we pronounce incorrectly, you know. Like, I'm an Awilix sayer, even though it's technically Awilish. I'm just, I don't know. Maybe it's bad man of me, but I just don't think that Awilix herself is going to be that offended. So I'm fine with you calling her Nut, but I'm going to call her Newt because that's what we called her for months of development.
As long as people know what I'm talking about when I say Nut. My favorite one is BaRRaCCuDDa. I think that's my favorite god to say.
That is really good. No, there's just, I mean, we all know that you're BaRRaCCuDDa main, always have been, always will be, and in particular now with his name, you know, that's the good stuff.
I'm just really good at characters where you don't need to aim. You know, where the 2 aims itself, the 3 literally aims itself. And then you have auto attack. So like,
and then your ult doesn't need to aim.
No. Well, no, it doesn't.
Yeah, you can't miss BaRRaCCuDDa ult. Well, is what I'm saying.
You can if they're like using a global.
Well, they still can't see. Like the majority of them.
I thought they could see.
Well, yeah, but like the majority of them like are still going to be saying, I can't see. You know what I mean?
Which is a very necessary
Wait, is that a good bit? Like,
that's
you wait until BaRRaCCuDDa, like,
Thank you.
You're playing him, and you wait until someone on the enemy team is going to use, like, a Thor ult, so they'll be, like, not blinded, and you ult and go, 4-man ult, like... 4-man ult, like, every time.
That's a really good bit.
I think that might be a good bit. Yeah, or, I mean, obviously to say I got a 5-man ult every time you play Nuwa, or BaRRaCCuDDa or anything like that, like we've been knowing that those are good bits, but intentionally getting 4-man ults, I think it's funny.
I think Andy used to call me out. I think it was Andy, because I used to say big ult after I like Hachi ulted like 5 people. And he was like, "Why do you always say big ult?" And I'm like, "It's a big ult. I'm hitting 5 people."
Like, do you not want to know that I'm going crazy here?
Yeah, like, do you not see 5 arrows flying out? Like, I'm doing big things right now.
That does sound very much like an Andy. Like, dude, why are you saying big ult? Like,
yeah.
it's Hachi. Like.
I remember him also making fun of me. I don't know if he was necessarily making fun of me, but he would talk about it. Like, I would say speed boost at the end of like an Apollo dash. Like, if I movement speed boosted a teammate, I'd be like, speed boost.
No, that's good. It's like Snoopy does that, but he always says take these ports because it started as like a Giannis portal thing. Like, you know, you got to take these ports, but. Then it evolved into any amount of movement speed boosting that you could do is taking these ports. So, like, you Cupid dash, you take these ports. Like, Apollo dash, take the ports. Giannis 3, take the ports. All the time. I have definitely said take these ports, like, in a playtest when talking about, like, a Cupid dash. And just gotten nothing but pure confusion. Dude, I don't know if you saw on Twitter, today was a very good day in the sense that we had a balance meeting, and Max, our resident stats guy, friend of the podcast, you know, everyone knows him, Innocent Rabbit, Miff messaged me on Discord in the middle of the meeting and was like, yo, hold on, I'm going to find his exact wording so that I don't misrepresent what he said. He said... Yo, you want to... Okay, he didn't say yo. You want to brain melt Max? Ask him what the winningest role is. I can't do it, bro. I'm geeking too hard thinking about it. Just say, which role has the highest win rate? I'm dying. Because, of course, every role is going to have a 50% win rate. because there's 2 of each role in the game. And I thought I played it very smoothly. I just go, yo, Max, I was thinking about something. Like, can you get me which role has the highest win rate? And he was like, which role? And I was like, yeah, just like overall, you know, just like the role that wins the most. And he was like, yeah, okay. And then like we keep talking. We're doing, you know, we do that a lot where we just like ask him something and then come back to it. And then like 5 minutes later, he's like, wait, this is looking weird. Like, I don't know what's going on with this, and like shows us his screen and it's all 50% win rate. And Mifflin is just losing it. Like, Mifflin is literally in tears instantly because he was laughing when I asked initially, and it was unbelievable. Like, he couldn't believe that he didn't think of it like in that way, and that he literally spent like 5 minutes like trying to set up the proper query for it, and then was like, wait, why is it doing this? It was very funny.
That just shows that he trusts you so much.
So way too much.
And he really shouldn't.
Really should not. It's his mistake. And he learned, you know? That's all there is to it.
Poor guy. I would feel so embarrassed.
It's fine. Max is the real MVP. We love him. He's critical to our success, and I will be making him feel bad if it's funny for me. All right, let's talk about Newt first before the rest of the patch then. Barry did try, and I will corroborate, he tried to get a game in. Was unable to do so, but you did mess with her a little bit in jungle practice. Maybe just we can just go kind of ability by ability here. Her passive, whatever Newt hits an enemy god with a damaging ability, she gains a stacking attack speed buff for 5 seconds, and she may gain multiple stacks from a single ability, max of 10 stacks. This passive, in my opinion, pretty good. Gives her pretty solid boxing power in lane. Feels like one of the stronger throughout the game ADC passives that we've had.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, it's definitely better than like Hachiman passive.
Right, which we all agree is barely a passive.
Yeah, it's definitely, I would say like
was before we added it.
Mid to like upper tier for passive. It just depends on how many auto attacks you can realistically get away with in a team fight. Because her dash seems really short, so that's kind of her major issue is survivability. And I don't know if she can stay alive the same way as like an Artemis can, or if she just has a very like similar team fight and team fight positioning. Yeah, the passive itself is very good.
Very good. Okay, the AO1 is Convergence. This is kind of the whole loop of the kit. So, well, I'm not going to read the whole description. Basically, you enhance your basic attacks, and you get 2 like little guys that shoot out along the sides of your basics. You gain ammo for this by hitting your basic attacks. This is basically like a super ROM arrow type of ability that fires at a triangle. And the center of the projectile does basic attack damage and procs basic attack items. The sides deal ability damage and proc ability items. So the sides will proc Crusher, the center will not. You can, of course, hit the sides and the center if you space it correctly. But I think this ability is very cool because it enables you to build a lot of different things and always care about this ability, but care about different parts of it. You know, if you're building crit, then you're going to care a lot about the center. If you're building Heartseeker, you know, whatever, you're going to end up caring more about the sides. And it is just a crazy good stim. Like, you pump damage when you're firing this off. Getting 4 shots off is a lot of damage very quickly. I think this ability is crazy good, particularly late game, Barry.
Yeah, when I was shooting Odin bots, it felt very impactful. Just
light them up.
Seeing the little yellow damage pop up on the side, you know, it felt really nice. Obviously, I haven't played her in a real game, So it's hard for me to justify how good exactly this ability is. I will say, I think it's just a better Charybdis one.
Sure.
I think I don't know if I'm trolling with that or not. But it just seems kind of just better than Charybdis one because it passes through enemies, right?
They pierce enemies, but not walls.
Yeah, that seems crazy because being able to like auto attack through a potential body blocking support, especially like early mid game, seems very impactful.
Yep.
And then also being able to do that late game, it's kind of just better Charybdis one. It's more like a Rama arrow, but I think it's just better Charybdis one.
Yeah. I mean, I think Charybdis's loop is less about, the one is there to build stacks for her. This is the primary loop for Newt. This is the primary ability. This is what you're going to be doing the vast majority of the time. A lot of her power budget, so to speak, is taken up by this ability for sure, whereas Charybdis really isn't.
Yeah, what is Charybdis's power budget?
Her survivability, it's like all in the 3. It's
Really?
like pretty much entirely in the 3. Yeah, your character loses a lot of you lose a lot of potential offensive power when your defensive capability is much higher.
Yeah. Charybdis's 3 is definitely a really good ability.
Okay, well, it objectively is good, right? Like you can meme the rest, but you have to admit the 3 is a good ability.
If I wrote it down on paper, I would be like, that's a good ability. And then I play it in game, and I'm like, what's the point? This ability doesn't do anything.
It keeps you alive, Barry. It keeps you alive. You get
for 3 more seconds, and then you die.
Correct. You can press it. You can press 3 again, and you'll move faster. Yeah.
What?
And you'll knock them up whenever you come out.
That's crazy.
That seems good, right?
Yeah, you can cancel it whenever you want as well. So I mean,
it
does so much damage. It's like 20 damage, I think.
Bro, remember when BaRRaCCuDDa was on the Charybdis mid warpath?
That was the worst.
Bro, that pick was so bad.
It was awful.
It was not. They were winning with it. I mean, say what we will, but we have to admit they did win some amount of games with Charybdis mid.
Also, didn't he cook up like a crazy build? Like it was like Toxic Blade and something else, and I was like, "What are you doing?" Like he would go Toxic Blade in situations where you didn't need anti-heal, and I'm like, "Surely there is a better item."
Just stat efficiency, baby. Just attack speed, pen. Like, give me that.
I did To BaRRaCCuDda's credit, I did have an itch earlier in Assault game where I built Griffin Wing, a terrible item. Hurts your damage as a hunter, you only have 6 slots, you need damage.
Right.
And I think maybe every game he just had an itch, and he was like, I need to build Toxic Blade this game. Like, it's like when you have to int, and you see the play, most likely it's going to go bad, but you still have to go for it, and I think that's what he did with Toxic Blade. He was like, I know this is bad, but I just have to. Like,
bro, maybe he was literally back with the exact amount of gold,
Every time, yeah.
Every single time. Like,
which is pretty often.
It was just a set play that they did. It's like, okay, BaRRaCCuDDa, you're going to leave base, and then you're not coming back until you've got 2250, or whatever it is.
I'm spiking with Toxic Blade out of base right now.
Huge spike.
Play around me.
Huge spike. Bro, imagine your mid laner goes, I'm strong, fight around me, and you press tab, and he's purchased Toxic Blade. And they have no healers. Their health pots are worth nothing in front of me, man. They can't regen for anything. Okay, anyways.
Sorry, BaRRaCCuDda out there.
No, shout out BaRRaCCuDDa. Hope he's doing well. No flame. Just memeing.
Hope he's doing well.
Wait, that reminds me of when we were at Worlds. Gino, former SPL support, SCC support, good friend of mine. I was with him, and we saw some of the Ferryman boys right after they had lost on semifinal day, and we see Aurora outside, and we're like, hey Aurora, like, how you doing? Hope. And he's like, yeah, I've been better. Stupid question by me. I'm the one who said it. I'll take full responsibility. But Gino just hits him with the, hey, Aurora, looking good. Did I tell this story on the podcast already? I feel like I've told... Oh, okay. I told this to someone else.
If you did, I wasn't there.
All right, fair enough. He goes, yeah, hey, Aurora, looking good. And just the way he said it, like, it just, like, stuck in my head. And then we get into our Uber. And I'm like, Gino, why did you say, like, looking good like that? And he's like, look, man, like, I don't know what to tell players after they've lost. So I just always default to looking good is the only thing I tell anyone after they've lost. And it just, like, it lives rent-free in my head. I don't even know how I started. Oh, it's because it was the hope he's doing well. That was my version of looking good, Hey, Veronica, looking good. There you go. That's
a really good line, because it kind of takes you out of, like, losing, and you're like, oh, thanks, man.
Yeah, but here's the thing. No one looks good after they've lost. They look like they got into a car accident. Like,
I know.
Everyone looks overwhelmingly depressed. I feel like it would... If he said that to me after I'd lost, I'd be like, no, I don't, man. Like, you don't gotta rub it in,
You just take the compliment out. You look good right now.
Thanks, man. I've lost today, and I don't, so thanks, man. All right, anyways, Newt AO2 is a crashing comet. It's a big AoE circle where she calls down a comet from the sky, which crashes in a circular area, dealing damage. It is a small circle and a bigger circle. Enemies in the inner circle, which is smaller, take a second instance of damage and are rooted, where enemies in the larger area are trembled. I personally think this ability is crazy strong. Because it's just huge.
Yeah, I agree.
It's super fast, and it's really big. You aren't gonna... Are you good?
Every time I pet Luna, I just get hair all over my face, and it's driving my allergies crazy, and I can't breathe.
Well, you're looking good, man. Don't worry about
it. Every time I breathe, I just feel like an itch on my face or something.
Man.
Like,
dude, you know what I had the other day?
Nose.
I had one. When your mustache gets. Do you have a particular, like? There's one hair on the right side of my nose that grows upside down. It grows the wrong way, and when it gets too long, it like tickles my nose. Like it like perfectly gets into my nostril and starts like tickling the edge of my nose. It's so annoying. It drives me crazy. Do you have any of those?
No, my genetics. My beard hairs go straight down.
Yo, don't come from my whole gene pool when I got one hair out of a lot. You know what I mean? Like, I've got a lot of hairs. Okay, just because this one is a rogue, it doesn't mean it's my whole genetic makeup is at fault. All right.
I'm just saying that seems like a pretty annoying factor.
It is. I mean, it's always in the exact same spot. If it annoys you enough
to talk about it,
Look, I'll talk about anything. Like that's a low bar. Anyways, what do you think about Newt AO2?
I mean, obviously, like, roots are always good, especially on a hunter kit, because any self peel is always good on a hunter kit.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was, slamming those Odin bots, I was thinking about Ishtar too, and kind of how you can kind of set up plays for yourself, and I think that this is kind of similar.
Mm-hmm.
Where you're just kind of like self-peeling or self-poking around a corner. And I don't, obviously, since I haven't played Conquest, I don't know if this is an ability you're maxing like on Ishtar, where it's like 4-2-1-3, and you're playing around your 2 like wave clear and poke, or
maybe
if nuts 1 is OP enough, like you were saying, where that's kind of the whole kit, where you're just maxing the 1 early.
Yeah. Another really strong thing about the 2 is that it hits a lot of targets, so you get a lot of passive stacks, because you can gain multiple stacks from a single ability. So if you hit the wave, then you get 6 passive stacks right away. And then if there's a god, 2 gods, it's very easy to hit those. You're going to get a lot of stacks very quickly. So I think that's one of the stronger parts of this ability. I think in development at some point I did try maxing it, but it was like months ago. So who knows when
Are you a 1 maxer?
I'm a 1 maxer for sure.
Okay.
Maybe the damage got buffed since then. I would when we're making gods, we get to a point where we're making ability damage or cooldown like changes like every day, and then you slow down a little bit as you get closer to release. But who knows how many changes it's gone through since then. But the damage is very low. 35 to 115 is incredible. The rooted person takes 2 instances, but still.
Yeah, well, that's what I was thinking, like, similar to Ishtar 2, like, the 2 instances of damage.
Sure.
So it looks like it doesn't do that much damage, but if you're hitting both, I feel like it's pretty good poke.
Sure.
Kind of like Artemis 3, I guess.
Yep.
Did you type these patch notes?
I did not.
Who typed these patch notes?
Almost certainly Lermy.
Because I'm very happy that there's range and radius on all the abilities. I don't know when that got, like, added.
I think we've done that for the last few gods.
Well, where have I been? Oh, yeah, I got kicked.
You look great, though, Barry, to be clear. Looking good, buddy.
That was really just like a softball hit for me. Like, that was so easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is fantastic. Okay, the second thing, since I'm just, like, talking about patch notes.
Yeah.
You need, like, I'm just going to critique you guys now for zero reason.
Sure.
You need, like, a BaRRA sentence. Like, just describe the ability in one sentence. Like, that's what I need. I just need, like, a quick, to the point, like, one sentence. Like,
yeah,
damage, tremble. Yeah, that's all you need. Circle, root damage, tremble for me.
Okay, yeah, we could try something like that.
Thank you.
We won't though.
That's fine.
We could. I don't think we will, but we could. I'll bring it up with the relevant parties, and we'll see what they think.
For me.
For you.
In particular, yeah.
Just for you. The BaRRA sentence. Okay, the AO3 Warp. It is, for the BaRRA sentence, this is a 8-way Merlin flicker. So like 8-way dashes are like Thoth 2 or Rom 3. Mm-hmm. But it's a Merlin flicker and it automatically shoots 3 homing projectiles that prioritize gods. And these slow. Also, using this resets your 1 cooldown. So the combo is, 2 in order to root or tremble them, pump your 1 damage, 3 after them, your slowing, automatically homing projectiles will slow them for you, and your 1 is right back up and you can slam them right again. This ability, I've heard a lot of people talking about how her survivability is very low. She doesn't have a lot of movement, whatever. This ability doesn't take you very far. I'm a little surprised by that, I'll say, because I don't feel like a lot of people saw Merlin flicker and were like, oh, that ability is underpowered. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this is just 8-way Merlin flicker with damage. Like, and people, there were some bones being picked with the idea that it was, people thought it should have been a lower cooldown because the preview blog said like a low cooldown movement ability meant for juking. The cooldown's 14 to 12 seconds, depending on rank. Merlin flicker, when it released, or like it got nerfed to like 30 seconds. It was like 28 seconds or something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a very, very, very long cooldown. Like, I remember reading the cooldown and being like, that's stupid. Like, that should not be that long.
Right. And people now have gotten to the point where they realize that Merlin is very killable, even with flicker. But I just think this ability is a lot stronger than people are giving it credit for.
How much is the slope?
It doesn't say on here. See?
Lure me! Come on!
Maybe we don't normally say, but no, I think we should have. No, we should have here. Yeah, I'm not...
Is it DRable slope? I don't know how slows work up and down the game.
It depends on when the projectile, like if they hit in succession and they're each 10%, then you will get diminishing return. Like it wouldn't be 30%, you would get diminishing returns on that. But if they all hit at the same time, which is probably unlikely, but I suppose possible, then it could be like I assume that the slow is either 10 or 15% per projectile, and then it would stack, but you'd probably get diminishing returns.
That seems like crazy for 1v1s then. Like if you're able to be aggressive and like scare them away and just flicker in.
Yep.
Homing projectile 3, you 2 root, and then we'll get to the ult. The ult seems crazy.
The ult is definitely crazy. So her ult is Skyfall. You go up into the air and you're untargetable for 3 seconds. You can move and aim before firing a massive black hole towards the battleground that lands after a short delay, dealing damage and pulling in everyone towards the center. Then Newt will land at her initial location. So, like Rom, she can't move once she's up in the air. Or, like, she can move once she's up in the air, unlike Rom, but she's always going to come down to the exact same point she took off from, like Rom does. But you can get far in the air. Yeah. Like, you can easily influence a fight at mid-harpies if you take one step into the jungle. And the AoE in which this does damage is massive. It is very, very, very large. There is a really big tell because the whole skybox changes, which is a very cool effect. But it is still, this ability is very, very strong in team fights. It can buy you a ton of time. It can impact, it's, I would call it a semi-global in terms of impact. It can do a good amount of damage. I think this ult is crazy.
Yeah, I completely agree. I saw an intro to FineOk's YouTube video, I think it was yesterday or the day before, where he got like a massive ult. I didn't have time to watch the video. I think I was at work, actually. And I saw the intro, and I was like, that's crazy. I think it was on like Middle Phoenix, where he ulted like everyone, and they just got stuck together.
Oh, yeah, and Phoenix choke points and that kind of stuff. You can easily hit the whole team.
It seems nice that a hunter has that kind of intro to a fight, almost, where they don't have to rely on their frontline as much, in my opinion, to start a team fight. And I think most hunters have to rely on their team to start a team fight, but I feel like if you're Phoenix sieging, I mean, besides like Shablanco and like, if you're just like throwing your Tusky out, right. I feel like most hunters don't have like the best intro to a Phoenix fight, but I feel like with her, especially with how far you can go, like you could just fly to their backline and just drop the ult on them, or if you turn around their front lines like overextended, you can just throw it on them and then CC chain them after that. How does it work with like right clicking it if you try to cancel it? Is it like ROM where you are instantly back, or?
I don't know exactly if you have like moved pretty far, but I think it's pretty quick that you'd cancel and come down.
Okay.
I think it's pretty quick.
Yeah, she seems like a really fun combination of characters, and also I feel like she would be a very fun SPL god.
Yes.
Just watching that old SPL, I feel like would be crazy.
She has a very high skill. You could do a lot of things with your skill expression on this character. Resetting your primary damage ability will always let you do things like that. Knowing when to be aggressive, when to be defensive. I think her skill ceiling is incredibly high. I think she is a little bit harder than a couple of the more recent hunters, which are really all... Dude, it's so crazy that Lermies had to make 3 hunters. Because she made Martikaros, Ishtar, and Newt. And I've said on the podcast before that I think making hunters is the hardest class to make. In my is my gut feeling. I haven't made one yet, so I could be wrong. But making 3 back-to-back hunters is a really tall task to make them all feel unique and fun and huntery. And I think Laramie did a really good job.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was gonna say. I feel like it's difficult with the current god list to make something that hasn't already been made before,
Mm-hmm.
and then also try to have it have its own like identity and play style, but also at the same point, like you were saying, make it still feel like a hunter
Yep.
and make it feel like auto attacky, but also you want your abilities to not just be. I mean, it's fine for like another like Rama character to come out. I would be fine with that, where it's like full auto attacks. But I think at this point in Smite, you need more. You just need more on your kits, and you need more kind of influential abilities, I guess,
Yep.
and more complicated kits.
Yep.
Or I guess like more depth is a better way to say it.
Yep.
I feel like she has a nice combination of abilities, and the ult seems just crazy. Like that ability seems so much fun.
Yeah. No, it is very fun to use in a team fight for sure. Andy Elion, of course, one of the good friends of the podcast, says he thinks that she is an auto attack pen ADC. That it's going to be things like chins, dominance,
Mm-hmm.
that type of feeling.
Yeah,
Not
whatever,
necessarily
yep.
crit. Is that where you're leaning as well here, Barry?
I don't know, simply because I heard crit was super OP, so I don't know if crit is still super OP anymore or if that's been nerfed.
It got a little nerfed.
Okay. Yeah, everyone. I remember after Worlds, everyone was talking about crit being super OP. So I don't know if that build path is just dead. But yeah, I would agree. I feel like pin builds are just always good on every hunter.
Yep, pretty much. I would agree with that for sure. All right, let's talk about some items before we wrap up here. Let's see the ones that are the most spicy. Oh yeah, here's crit. Demon Blade no longer has attack speed on the passive proc. You still get the increase. You still get the pen, but full on removed the attack speed on Demon Blade. Passive proc. Its base stats still have attack speed though.
Poor Wind Demon, dude. I feel like this item just keeps getting nerfed, and then it's like it'll just die, and then people will just start building again. I don't know if people build it out of like habit. Maybe I guess that's the penetration.
Yeah,
That
it's just a
people
crit pen
keep
item.
wanting to buy it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That's all there is to it. Gotta get the nerf. The nerf. I don't. What am I saying? Devoted Deathbringer also lost some crit multiplier. These are the only two crit nerfs. But obviously two pretty heavy crit nerfs for the Devoted Deathbringer build path as well. Conduit Gem and Archmage's Gem. I saw some amount of confusion around this. I know that I think we're planning on clarifying here, so I'm going to just skip over that for now. Death's Temper, this one's interesting. Decreased the max stacks from 10 to 5, but made it so the basic attack damage is still the same. It's just you need a lot less stacks. Also increased its health by 75, because 75 health was pretty pitiful. Thoughts on Death's
That seems
Temper?
OP.
No one has bought this thing like ever, man. It has been impossible to get people to buy it.
I love Temper, but it was just so bad around Fire Giant fights.
Mm-hmm.
And Embrace was just... It just felt nice since having the cooldown addition on it. And it was hard to make an argument, unless you really needed attack speed in your build at that time, to fit in Temper over Embrace. Because if you just go double lifesteal, it's really hard for you to die. And then it kind of forces them to build around your Embrace and lifesteal item.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Temper is one of those items where it's just like a selfish feel-good item. Like, once you get the stacks and you crit someone for like 1k, and everyone's like, holy cow, crit and hunters are so OP.
Right.
That feels really good. Yeah, exactly. And that moment just feels so good. But it's hard to justify buying the item around objectives. And it just has that hole in it where it's just You get the attack speed on objectives, and that feels nice, but unless you're going like a Silver Branch build, I feel like you have enough attack speed in your build right now where you don't need the extra temper. I could be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I also don't know how OP Cowl is, or if people are still going Gilded or not, or if there's like a fight, I guess, between the 3 Hunter starters.
Sure.
Um, I remember I streamed recently and someone told me that someone was putting like mannequins in ADC, and I'm like,
I have seen
some.
I have seen a lot of mannequins in ADC lately.
Is that I'm actually good?
It's better. That's what I'll say. You know, it's
I guess
better.
You clear jungle.
Yep. You do that.
You do attack speed. Okay, maybe it's okay.
There you go.
I'll have to try it out.
Yeah, give it a shot. Rejuvenating Heart. The passive, this shares your lifesteal on enemy gods into an AoE around you. This includes yourself. That is being increased from 33% to 75%. So 75, if you were going to lifesteal for 100 off of an enemy god, you and all of your allies around you will be healed for 75 health. Now, before it would have been 33. Now it's 75. It is important to keep in mind, as Lermy noted here in the dev notes, that the majority of mage lifesteal abilities were already suffering a 33% AoE penalty. So Rejuvenating Heart was guaranteeing 33% of 33% for many characters. Now, I think Rejuvenating Heart will be very good and almost certainly require Divine Ruin on its own, because if you let a mage build Bancrofts into Rejuvenating Heart or something like that, and you don't have anti-heal, you will be getting snowballed on in team fights very hard, in my opinion.
Yeah, I remember. I think I was watching Vin shortly after the patch came out, and he was playing Hell, like Bancrofts, Typhons, Rejuvenating Heart, and he was like, "This is crazy OP."
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've seen that build since then, but the amount of healing that he was doing to his teammates was absurd. But I don't know. Do you think Bancrofts and Typhons are a good enough build path to go down consistently with this item now? Or
I don't know. Yeah, probably. Yeah,
okay.
I think so. There's not a lot of value right now in double flat pen builds. Like, that's kind of where Bancroft's builds typically fall behind, is in the early game to double flat pen builds, but people really aren't buying that. So their natural predator, so to speak, isn't very strong. So yeah, I think it's probably good. I think mages right now are probably a little weak in the laning phase and need to be pretty good in team fights. And this is a good team fighting item. So in that sense, I think it should be fairly strong.
Are hunters still OP in mid? Because I
think
Vin
they're
was
pretty
like
good.
Slamming them.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think they're pretty good. If I were queuing to climb right now, I would be polishing off the Marty, the Chiron for me, because I'm a Chiron enjoyer. The Neath, those types of hunters I think are pretty good in mid right now. But I don't think mages are bad. I just think mid hunters are pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I'd say.
I was wondering if you could go like Bancrofts to fight the hunters, or if that was just bad.
I think they kind of just out-trade you early too hard, even with the Bancroft. Well, maybe not. Maybe
it's like a Death Soul thing?
I'd be going Bluestone.
Okay.
I just think they kind of outshove you too hard and then just have like wave pressure on you. But maybe Bancrofts actually allows you to box post one item. They stack trans really quickly these days.
Okay.
Which is part of the reason why I think they're strong. So maybe it's worth. It's a theory worth testing. I agree.
I'm a smart guy.
All right, let's go to some god nerfs, shall we? Athena, ultimate early game gets kind of gutted. The damage mitigation and movement speed were both 20% at all ranks. Now they go 10 to 20% depending on rank. I've been very vocal on this podcast over many, many years. This god is incredibly overvalued, especially in non-pro play, but in my opinion, even in pro play. Surely this is enough.
Cap.
Surely.
That god's good. That god, it just...
I know, Barry. You don't want to think about the fact that they've got an Athena ult.
You can't make a play. You can't
now
make
you
a play
can
anywhere on the map.
Now you can because they're not getting nearly as much movement speed or damage mitigation, right?
Well, she's still gonna be there.
No, but they won't be as strong when she's channeling.
She's still gonna be there.
All right, no.
I don't know if it was
next patch, Athena gives no stats at all on Defender of Olympus. But
just
she will
take
be
the ult
there.
away.
Yep, she will be there. Okay, Maman Brigitte gets a little nerf. Decreased scaling on the initial hit of her 3, increase the base cooldown of her 1, which is her primary clear. This is one of the bigger nerfs that she's received in increasing the base cooldown of the 1, but I think this should put her in a pretty decent spot. I don't think that she's going to be super problematic, but the community perception on high damage dealing characters is always significantly higher than, not always, but oftentimes significantly higher than their actual performance. And Maman is definitely in that category, I think. So yeah, just don't die to her. Smile.
It's so hard to not die. Especially, like, when there's a Maman inside of you and then there's an Athena ult on the Maman. Like,
yeah, nothing you can do there.
There's no counterplay.
Well, bro, she's not getting nearly as much movement speed, Like, there you go.
She's inside of me. Like, she doesn't need movement speed.
Oh, pack it up. We've lost. Thoth nerf, just some scaling on the 1 and ult, which I think is good. He was doing a little bit too much damage. BaRRaCCuDDa, significant nerfs. On the 1, the 2, the ult.
That's like my favorite arena god right now.
Yeah, you've been going off.
He's just like the most turn your brain off character, but you still kind of feel like you're impacting plays having your brain off.
Yep.
And most of the time when I turn my brain off, I just int. But I feel like on that character, I'm actually doing things, and it's just
that boy. He makes space, Like,
yeah, if you want to play Smite without playing Smite, you don't want to do like any frustrations or anything. You just lock in that character, go into an arena game, build full defense, and then just have a great time.
Yep.
It is so fun.
You aren't wrong. You can do that, and you'll probably win, but maybe not as much now that he's been nerfed. Cuckoo Khan decreased the movement speed on his 2 and increased the cooldown, so it doesn't go down quite as low. Yeah, it's crazy that Cuckoo has been so nerf resistant as of late, but we shall see if this will do it for him. Remember when this god was unplayable?
I've been saying that character has been OP forever.
Yep.
Like, the ult is crazy.
Yep.
Like, you don't need a lane in mid either. You just throw your tornado and run away. Like, you can't get zoned on that character.
Yep. You aren't wrong.
And the spit's OP. Like, the spit is such a low cooldown. And it's a crazy slow. You have so much CC. Like, if you hit a carry or a jungler with that ult, you guarantee win the team fight. Like, you just throw them out there. It's so OP. Like, every time we were scrimming with that character, I was like, Vin, this character is OP. Like, just play it. And then every day on that game day, would be like, no. And I'm like, dude, it's so OP. Like, just play it. It's... If I could go back, I would just drive to, like, the team house and just tell Vin, like, you just lock this character in. It's so OP.
Yeah.
It's just a good character. Especially when Athena's meta, like, dog.
Remember when Gem of Isolation
so
was a real item that you would just always slow, and your 1 would literally, like, root people? They wouldn't be able to move. Like, so crazy. And then your 3 just, like, was so much slow pressure. I mean, I'm talking, like, Season 1, Season 2 stuff, but boy, was it fun. All right, Hachiman getting a cooldown increase on both his 2 and his ultimate. Isn't it crazy that this is mounted archery is a 110-second ultimate cooldown?
That is criminal. I would prefer like any other nerf outside of that one.
It's just a safety, bro. Like when you talk about what makes his character good, it's that he can be offensive, he can be defensive, he's got no real weakness. And
exactly.
The ultimate is a part of that because it can be offensive or defensive.
His weakness is like 1v1ing. Like if they jump your 2 and just full commit to you, you're like, yeah, I'm cooked.
Yeah, I don't know. He's got a dash that stuns. That's pretty good.
Yeah, but when you get jumped on by an on-her, like if you 2 the on-her and he jumps on you, you're just sad boy.
Yeah.
You're missing like 250 damage on the 1v1, then you have to dash the on-her, or you have to like ult it. And you can't like dash on him. Yeah, Honor's just a better character than Hachiman. I think I just discovered that.
Well, good news. Honor's nerfed as well. 5%
really?
slow off the 1 at all ranks. Yes.
Big. Yeah, that being a 40% slow is just crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts.
You just kill supports late game with that thing.
You probably still will at 35%, but, that's...
yeah.
That's all right. Charon gets a little nerf. Vomana, it is not allowed for Vomana ult to get any buffs ever again, I've decided.
What is that nerf?
Bro, we touch this god. We literally touch this god. He catapults. No matter what. He literally is like... Was
he dominating ranked again?
Yes, bro. And we get...
Oh, that's hilarious.
This character, we get so many complaints about him. Like, man... You know what, Vomana? Just stay in your corner, bro. I'm not trying to deal with this guy anymore. I'm not. Like, I'm trolling, of course. If he needs buffs, we'll buff him. But I don't want to.
Maybe, yeah, you just have to buff, like, every button but the ult. And just make
he'll
him
sneeze
be able to...
harder, bro. He'll freaking 2 and it'll sneeze harder. That's it.
Nerf the ult, but make him able to cast abilities in the ult.
Oh, okay.
So he can just throw a giant umbrella.
Oh, that'll be good. Yeah, that's
a
good.
A giant dashing Vomana.
Wow, bro. Thanks, Barry. That's great.
Give me in those balance meetings.
Bro, I'll send you the invite. Hop in. No problemo. Hades now gets a protection debuff on his ultimate. Water cannon. I, for one, welcome our new Overlord and Hebo being able to clear again. Here you go, a little ricochet buff. That's 5 damage.
Bro, Hui gets the worst buffs, man.
Bro, okay, here's the reason. This 5 damage, gonna be 15 damage on jungle camps, and so it can't be any more than that.
If you want Hui to be good, give his ult % pin. That's all you have to do is just give his ult % pin. Because that is one of the worst abilities late game of all time.
It's so bad.
With Executioner being really good and Dom being really good, you're never getting the Titan's Bane builds again, so your ult just doesn't do damage to tanks. Like, it just doesn't. It's a waste of an ability. You do like 70 damage to a tank and you're like, nice. That's just awesome.
Yeah, you are wrong. The ult almost certainly could use a buff. It is stinky.
% pin. That's all you have to do.
There you go. Xingqian, more damage reduction on the 1. Barry buff right there.
We're back?
How's your Cerberus, Barry?
In support?
Yep.
Unplayable.
Unlucky. Well, if you get solo, then you can play him there, because now when you kill a god's soul that you've pulled with your 3, it gives you a 2-second reduced cooldown on soul expulsion. That's your 3.
It's really funny how many buffs Cerb gets, and it's like, people play him in ranked, like pros will play him like 1 or 2 games, and like, yeah, this character is bad.
Yeah, they should
can't.
simply hit the 1.
We can't. It's an impossible ability to hit, man.
It's very hard. It is.
Professional players have missed their 1 off of their own ultimate.
Bro, it feels so
hard.
good when you hit it, though. Have you thought about that? When you freehand a Cerberus... Okay, how about this? If Cerberus hasn't hit you in the last 10 seconds and he hits you with all 4 pieces of his 1, you're stunned for 5 seconds.
Maybe he would get played.
If you're in full screen, it alt tabs your game. There you go. That's the buff. It all tabs your
Fantastic idea.
Thank you. Zhonghui, more stacks. He gets more base attack speed. That buff will almost certainly feel fantastic. Base attack speed buffs almost always feel really good. Kali gets a little buff. Horus gets a little buff. What?
What is this Kali buff, man?
Bro, that's another character. She is a demon, bro. She's a demon. She can't... If this guy...
Her stun went from 15 to 14 seconds.
Yep. Yeah, it did. You know what? It did. There you go.
That's a dartboard buff, bro. Like...
Listen, dog, we're doing our best. Like, I don't know what to tell you, bro.
Kali was on the dartboard, and then you just...
I will say this. We had a bigger buff planned for Kali, and then it turned out that it was going to be turbo OP, what we were planning on doing, and so we had to pull that at the last second. I will say that. Ho Yi, get boned. Like, you're not getting a bigger buff than that. Kali, we actually had more plans for, but had to pull it.
Kali, I mean, to stop trolling you, Kali is just a really hard character to balance because she's like Freya syndrome.
Yep.
Like, if she gets overbuffed, she'll be in every single game, and then it's also like a noob stomper character, and noobs, I think, hate dying to Kali. Because it's just, you get stunned, and it's like, oh, there's no counterplay to this character, I can't do anything. I don't think Kali's been impactful in pro or like top ranked for a very long time, but I think when you're a noob, dying to Kali is like she just hastens you down. Like there's no counterplay. Like there's nothing I can do here in this situation.
True. Sorry to Anister you there.
That was a good Anister moment.
Thank you. Herc gets a little buff. Nem gets a spicy little buff here, I think, and that her shield health at rank 1 goes from 100 to 150.
That's actually a big buff.
Big buff. This god is so good. She's so good. We've turbo buffed this character so many times. She saw a little bit of comp play, and that's from like Lasbra and Sino to absolute Nem one tricks. And then her rank stats were still garbage. Like, we gave this character so many buffs. How is it possible that people are still losing with Nem? She's so good. Pick this god.
I don't know.
You might still lose, but it'll be your fault, not the god's. And that should bring you some amount of comfort, because you'll know you still got improvement to go. That's probably not a great selling point for me.
It's fine.
All right, last but not least, Chiron. The base damage on the 3 gets a little buff, and the mana cost gets decreased. You pumped about that? You freaking stoked?
That's a very, very large Venenu buff.
Nice.
He's loving that. The Viron...
He did it. I did see that he had a Masters border on that.
I'm not surprised. Anytime hunters are like halfway viable in mid, that's all he'll play, and that's all he'll talk about.
Dude, that character is so fun, man. I love Chiron.
It really is.
I love Chiron.
Once you get Bluestone finished late game, that character just evolves into just a killer. Like, he can kill anything on the map. But there's this awkward, like,
dude, I want to play some Chiron right now.
We'll go play some Chiron.
Can't.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's all right.
Yeah, just play some Chiron on the podcast. It'll be fun.
Okay. All right, that's it for patch notes and our little Newt preview. That means it's time for our random question of the week, which is, of course, in our community Discord. Patreon.com/backliners, the place to go if you want to join in. What was that? What is everything?
Luna and Hobbs are fine. Well, Hobbs is the
They're going crazy. Goodness.
Luna was just sitting in the cat tree, and then Hobbs was just like trying to WWE her out of it.
You hate to see that. Unless you're a big fan of the WWE, in which case maybe you're really excited about that. Okay, Odd Otters asked, since you mentioned taking Calvin to swim practice last week, are there any activities you watch babies do and mentally ridicule them, even though there is no reason they should be able to do that activity due to them being babies? Literally everything. It's so easy to make fun of a baby. Because number one, they can't understand you, so you don't have to feel bad. As long as you say it in a nice, upbeat way with a smile on your face, you can say whatever you want. And
it's like a dog.
Right, exactly. It's great in that way. Yeah, number two, like watching him right now, he's just starting to like crawl a little bit. But when he crawls, he only pushes himself backwards. He's like anti-crawling right now. He just gets farther away from the thing he's trying to get to. And I've been absolutely lighting him up for it. It's been like, yeah, that's it. You're getting closer. No, you're not. You absolute idiot. Like, what are you doing? Like, you know, I love making fun of babies and dogs because you know, I'm doing it in a happy, upbeat way. But I am making fun of them the entire time. It is very enjoyable. But let me say this. Calvin, youngest in the swim class, smallest in the swim class, absolutely embarrassed the rest of the swim class this week. Minute we put him in the water, like, you know, Joe's, we alternate weekends for going in the water with him because it's so much fun and we all want to do it. She takes him in this week, instantly paddling and kicking. Little kicks, little paddles. They're not teaching that stuff in this swim class. It's infant swim class. He's just a freaking natural. Michael Phelps better count his days as the most successful American swimmer of all time because Calvin Bailey is coming for him. That's all I've got to say. Samuel, who was the best swimmer in swim class last week, drooled the entire time. Freaking idiot. He was worthless in there. He didn't do anything. Did Calvin throw up in the pool a little bit? Yeah, a little bit, but it was fine. Like, it was only a little. Because he was working really hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Absolute beast. Absolute beast. Very proud of him. He embarrassed everyone at swim class, and I was very excited about it. Barry, what about you? Do you is there anything that you think it's funny when babies try to do?
I don't think anything in particular besides babies or kids like falling down. I think that's, I guess, like walking or like trying to move from one place to another and then them just like face planting.
True.
Watching kids get hurt is one of my like favorite things. It was like a TikTok compilation Destiny showed me of kids. It was like, I don't know, like 3 to like 6-year-olds running through, I think it's like a mirror maze, and they just start face planting into the walls, and I was laughing so hard. Like, they would sprint so fast and be so confident, and then just face plant into the mirror, and I just couldn't stop laughing. It was my favorite video.
Yeah.
And, any of those videos where like a baby just like falls down or anything, it's just hilarious to me. Not if they're like actually getting hurt, you know.
Right, of course.
That's a little messed up, but like if it's just them like trying to like walk or like trying to do anything and they just fall over, it's hilarious. Every time. It's like a fart joke.
Yep.
To like a kid. Like, it's always funny.
No.
I will always laugh at that.
I'm right there with you. All right, Neon asks, if you could change the result of one competitive event, sports, esports, other competitive things, what would it be? For clarification, it could be an event you were involved in, or it could be a team that you are a fan of. I know mine, Barry.
This is a hard question. This is a very good question.
This is a good question.
Well, I feel like saying like I win worlds another year would be
well, you can only change the result of one. So like it would be like you guys beat Epsilon season 2.
Oh, okay.
And then you don't know what's gonna happen in the finals, but we kind of know. I mean,
yeah, season 2 and season 3, like that was the finals, was our bracket. Let me see.
I'll let you think. I'll give mine in the meantime.
Okay.
Mine is very easy because I didn't play in many competitive sets at LANs and that thing. I really wish that Season 2 MLG Columbus, I hope Andy isn't in here still because he'll be depressed along with me. MLG Columbus, we lose in semis to Paul's team, At the time, everyone called them Shing's team. But yeah, we lost in the semifinals there. And because Eager was the other team and they had already qualified for Worlds on the other side of the bracket, that auto qualified Shing and Paul's team to the semifinals at Worlds, where they played against an Xbox Smite team from Europe that was basically a bye. And then they got beat in the finals by Envy. But making it to the finals that year was a very... what's the word I'm looking for? It was a very fortuitous place to be. You got a lot of money even for being second that year. And we would have 100,000% been in second place, and that would have been significantly more money than the $200 some that we made that year. So yeah, I would say that one.
I would say probably, now that I've had some time to think, I would just go back to like my Halo tournament of MLG Columbus.
Did you actually play at MLG Columbus?
Yeah, I don't remember what year it was. It was like 2012 or 2011.
I wonder if they had the same building then. Because mine would have been in what, 2000... When was season 1?
15?
Okay, so
14, I guess.
14, so it would have been 2015. So yeah, it probably would have been in the same building.
Yeah, I would just go back and...
Did we both have catastrophic losses in that building, Barry?
Mine was just like my teammates didn't play great on LAN. Like they were a lot better on. It sounds like I'm just blaming them, but in actuality, like that is literally what happened. And I would just go back and just make us win like one more set, just one more set, so we get like slightly further in the tournament because I was having so much fun. Or I would go back in time and not eat like a giant meal before I played that last set. Because that, I griefed myself. And after that point, I knew to never eat.
At that event, you ate a giant meal before your last set?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, I can never do this again, like, ever.
I thought you were going to say you wouldn't eat the McDonald's that gave you really bad food poisoning at the studio.
No, that was fine, because it made an epic moment. And that was fine. You know,
was that season 3 Super Regionals? Season 2. Oh, okay.
Because Omega left after that LAN.
Oh, right. Well, he just
and I always thought about...
He just knew, like, if he's going to be getting sick all the time, I can't be here, you know?
And then we did beat him in fall split with Baskin to qualify to Worlds, and I was like, yeah.
Oh, yeah. If missing that set got you Baskin in solo, then yeah, of course you're going to keep that.
That is kind of a good trade, I think.
Do you think that, what if it turned out that the person who gave you bad food at that McDonald's and gave you food poisoning was you from the future, who went back in time?
Baskin.
No, he went back. You went back in time to make sure that you got to team with Baskin.
That's a good idea.
Okay.
I just can't believe I had McDonald's at LAN. Like, how stupid is that? Like,
BaRRaCC, literally every single Smite Pro gets McDonald's at LAN.
Yeah, because it's right across the street. But, like, surely you know to, like, be putting good food in your body, not McDonald's.
No. I don't know to put good food in my body ever.
That's fair. But
that's
you would think I'd learn. I just talked about the MLG Columbus, and I mean McDonald's. Like,
BaRRaCC.
I guess it wasn't the same day, but yeah.
No, of course not. And, you know, it was, you were young and invincible. You know, we are old now and know how fragile we can be from one McDonald's trip. I might go to McDonald's after this, because it sounded kind of good.
I will say it's nice to work with people around my age, and I don't get called old all the time.
Yeah,
there's
I wouldn't
a
know.
lot of people at work that are older than me, and I'm like, this is nice.
Yeah,
like,
and you call that
I'm one of the youngins, right? No, I would never. I respect my elders.
Yeah, make sure you let them know that tomorrow.
Yeah, right.
That'll make them feel really good. All right, that's going to do it for this week's podcast. Thanks, everyone, for watching/listening. We'll be back next time we're back to talk about whatever we're talking about then. Yep, that's how we're ending this show. Really good stuff from me. Yep.
That was clean.
Thanks. Stop me when I'm wrong. All right, Barra, whatever, you know what to do. Go ahead.
Bye.
Yeah. See, all they're going to remember is nice, clean ending from Barra. And that's all you need. Yep. Okay, see ya.
That was perfect by us. Bye.
Perfect.